What if I told you that the Bible's greatest king, the giant slayer, the psalm writer, the man after God's own heart, became the Bible's worst dad? Here's something that'll mess you up. When David's son Absalom died, David wept so loud the whole army heard him. He cried, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, if only I had died instead of you." But when his daughter Tamar was raped, silence, total, deafening silence. Today, we're diving into one of the darkest, most uncomfortable stories in the Bible. A story about a daughter who was failed, a father who did nothing, and a family that imploded because one man chose his reputation over justice. This is the story of Tamar, and trust me, you've never heard it like this before. These are the types of content I create. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. Tamar, the daughter David failed to protect and history forgot. Let's set the scene. Tamar is David's daughter, a princess. She was beautiful, but more than that, she was a virgin daughter of the king, wearing an ornate robe that basically screamed, "I'm royalty, I'm protected, I'm untouchable." Her mother was Maacah, a foreign princess from Geshur. That's modern-day Golan Heights, up in Syria. David married her as part of a political alliance, which means Tamar had international royal blood running through her veins. But here's the thing. Being a princess didn't protect her, not even close. Enter Amnon, David's firstborn son, Tamar's half-brother. Amnon fell in love with Tamar, but let's be real, this wasn't love. This was an obsession. This was predatory. For sure, your whole body will tremble, your brain will explode, and you will definitely be blown away if you learn that. Amnon was born to David and Ahinoam of Jezreel in Hebron, making him heir apparent until his crimes. Ahinoam is the OG, original gangster, first lady of David's royal soap opera. Before Bathsheba drama, palace coups, and prophetic side-eye from Nathan, there was Ahinoam, the small-town sweetheart from Jezreel. Ahinoam was David's wife when he was still a fugitive on the run from Saul, building alliances through marriage before his Judah-only kingship in Hebron. Historically, Jezreel, her hometown, was a fortified city in the Golan-ish countryside. And then there's Jonadab, the scheming cousin who advised Amnon on raping Tamar. He was the son of Shimea, also called Shammah, David's brother, making him David's nephew. This dude is the quiet villain nobody talks about. He's Amnon's cousin, and he's described as a very shrewd man. Shrewd is Bible speak for dangerously clever. Think of Jonadab as the ancient Jerusalem's backroom schemer in royal robes and bad judgment. Jonadab sees that Amnon is depressed, and instead of telling him to get over it, he helps him craft a plan. When Amnon starts pining for his half-sister Tamar, Jonadab doesn't say, "Bro, that's sick." Instead, he invents the world's creepiest pretend you're sick plan. Here's the scheme. Amnon pretends to be sick. He asks David to send Tamar to his house to cook for him, just the two of them, alone. And David? He sends her, his own daughter, right into the trap. David sent word to Tamar at the palace. Go to the house of your brother Amnon and prepare some food for him. Imagine being Tamar. Your dad, the king, the warrior, the man who killed Goliath, tells you to go take care of your sick brother. You trust him. You obey. You walk into that house thinking you're doing something kind. And then Amnon grabbed her and said, "Come to bed with me, my sister." Tamar fights back. She pleads, "No, my brother, don't force me. Such a thing should not be done in Israel. Don't do this wicked thing. What about me? Where could I get rid of my disgrace?" She's begging. She's trying to reason with him. She even suggests, "Speak to the king. He will not keep me from being married to you." Which, yes, sounds wild to us, but in that culture, she's basically saying, if you want me, do it the legal way. Don't destroy me like this. But Amnon doesn't listen, and since he was stronger than she, he raped her. And then This is the part that makes my blood boil. Then Amnon hated her with intense hatred. In fact, he hated her more than he had loved her. He uses her, he destroys her, and then he throws her out like garbage. He called his personal servant and said, "Get this woman out of my sight and bolt the door after her." So his servant put her out and bolted the door after her. Tamar put ashes on her head and tore the ornate robe she was wearing, the symbol of her royal protection. She put her hands on her head and went away, weeping aloud as she went. This is a woman in complete devastation, publicly humiliated, traumatized, broken. And where does she go? Her brother Absalom said to her, "Has that Amnon, your brother, been with you? Be quiet for now, my sister. He is your brother. Don't take this thing to heart." And she lived in her brother Absalom's house, a desolate woman. Absalom is her brother, and their mother is Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur, a desolate woman. That's it. That's how the Bible describes the rest of her life. She becomes a footnote, erased, forgotten. But here's the question: why is she a footnote when her assault literally sparked a civil war? Don't be the person who shows up to the group chat with nothing but crap news. Be the one who drops knowledge bombs that make everyone go, "How did I not know this?" The father's silence. Why did David get very angry but do nothing? So what does David do when he hears about this? When King David heard all this, he was furious. Furious, that's the word. He was angry. But then, nothing. No trial, no punishment, no justice, just rage with zero action. And that's the most infuriating part. What's the point of anger if you don't do anything? Let me ask you something. Was David more concerned about his royal image than his daughter's trauma? Think about it. Amnon is his firstborn, the heir to the throne. If David punishes him, it's a public scandal. It's messy. It's politically inconvenient. Maybe he thought, let the gossip stay in the royal court. If they want to start a telenovela, fine. But no more extras. Family scandals should be contained in the palace hall. But the villages don't need daily updates from the throne room. But here's what nobody talks about. The penalty for rape was death. David knew the law, he wrote the Psalms, he knew what God required, so why didn't he act? Some scholars think David was paralyzed by his own guilt. Just a few years earlier, he had taken Bathsheba, another man's wife, and murdered her husband to cover it up. The prophet Nathan told him, "The sword will never depart from your house. Out of your own household, I am going to bring calamity on you." Was this it? Was this the beginning of that prophecy? Maybe David looked at Amnon and saw himself. Maybe he thought, "Who am I to judge my son when I did worse?" But here's the brutal truth. David's hypocrisy didn't just paralyze him, it created a culture where women were disposable in his own household. He took Bathsheba, he ignored Tamar, and the message was loud and clear: women don't matter, power does. And you know what? Maybe David was also afraid of losing another son. He'd already lost the baby with Bathsheba. Maybe he couldn't bear the thought of executing Amnon. But you know what's even more costly? Doing nothing. Because his inaction didn't save his family, it destroyed it. There are those who believe in every whisper, and there are those who don't seem to bother much. The question is, what can we gain from this? The Bathsheba connection? Did David's own sins paralyze him? Let's connect the dots here, because this isn't random. David's sin with Bathsheba and his failure with Tamar are disturbingly similar. Both involve abuse of power. Both involve sexual violence. Both involve a cover-up. When David took Bathsheba, he wasn't just committing adultery, he was abusing his authority as king. She couldn't say no to him, and when she got pregnant, he murdered her husband to hide it. Sound familiar? Amnon used his power as the prince to trap Tamar, and when he was done, David used his power as king to do nothing. Did David create a culture where women were disposable in his own household? Absolutely. And here's the chilling part. Nathan prophesied in 2 Samuel 12:11 that God would bring calamity out of your own household. This is it. This is the sword that never departs. Tamar's assault, Amnon's murder, Absalom's rebellion, the civil war, all of it traces back to David's failure to lead with integrity. God's judgment wasn't just about David's sin, it was about the ripple effect of unpunished evil. When leaders don't act, everyone suffers. If you want to expand your thinking and deepen your understanding, come and let's delve together into meaningful studies and find the answer to the question, is it true? Here's what breaks my heart. Tamar is erased from the rest of the Bible. She lived a desolate woman in Absalom's house, and then nothing. She's never mentioned again. We don't know if she ever married. We don't know if she had children. We don't know if she ever found healing. All we know is that she was punished twice, once by Amnon and once by her father's silence. Think about that. The man who raped her got to keep living in the palace. But she was the one who had to hide. She was the one labeled desolate. And you know what's even worse? We know way more about David's grief over Absalom than we do about his response to Tamar's rape. When Absalom died, David mourned publicly, loudly, dramatically, but when Tamar was destroyed, silence. What message did that send to every other woman in David's household? That their pain doesn't matter, that their trauma is less important than keeping the family's reputation intact. And here's the question that haunts me. What would justice for Tamar have actually looked like in that culture? Execution of Amnon? Public acknowledgement of her suffering? Restoration of her honor? We'll never know, because David never gave her the chance. Did anyone in David's court stand up for Tamar, or was she completely alone? The Bible doesn't tell us, but the silence is deafening. How did Tamar survive living in the same circle as a raped woman with a father who did nothing to show justice for her? A father who has all the power but did nothing for her? Skip the ordinary and dive into the secret chef's tasting menu of stories. We're your guide to uncovering hidden gems and surprising twists, making you the main character with jaw-dropping facts. Unlock the knowledge you crave. Oh, you think that was wild? Part 2 is where things go full Game of Thrones. Absalom waits 2 years, throws a party, gets Amnon drunk, and, spoiler alert, Amnon doesn't make it to dessert. Then, civil war. Thousands dead, kingdom destroyed. All because dad couldn't be bothered to do his job. Turns out, one unpunished sin doesn't just ruin a family, it nukes an entire kingdom. Part 2 reveals the consequences of David's silence, which literally cost him everything. We're talking rebellion, murder, chaos, and the most tragic I told you so moment in biblical history. Was Absalom the hero or the villain? Did David's guilt over Bathsheba paralyze him? And how many modern Davids are repeating this exact pattern today? Part 2 is coming. Don't be the person who missed the best plot twist in the Bible. See you there.